Just get ready.
That's the topic of the day. D, you are right. You want $1,000.
I want another towel.
Mr. C. Mike is with our commercial group and helped me have one of the largest sales in the company history with a nice $5.8 million deal that closed last week. So thank you very much. Mike. Give him a round of applause. Because I appreciate that. Okay, so we're talking about what you're doing about it, the market, what's going on out there. Are you seizing opportunities? We're getting new agents getting in business, and within 30 days, getting contracts, getting listings, starting to have good success with things. So what are you doing about it? Now, we had some wonderful cheese sausage balls that are in the kitchen. I ate about 4 of them just a minute ago. And they're some of the best cheese balls I've ever had. So we're going to start off with Miss Mary Helen Thompson coming on up here and talking about Housemaster. So come on up. And she has her lovely daughter with her, who she's been introduced to us.
Yes.
And what is her name for the group?
Sophie Smith.
Sophie Smith.
Yes. And
Double S. That's good.
Yes, SS.
So one, give them a round of applause for the lovely breakfast. And tell us about what you do and what they can do to help their business if they use you guys.
Okay. Well, first I wanted to tell you a little bit of background. I don't know if Mark has ever shared this with you, but in 1979, there was a marketing guy and a construction guy who decided that, they should start a home inspection business. And a few years after that, they decided there needed to be, it was taking off, the field was taking off, and that they needed to establish some guidelines for inspectors. So they started the first school, which was the National Institute of Building Inspectors. And a few years later, they co-founded ASHI. So when you use Housemaster, you're using the company that pretty much, wrote the book on home inspection. So what can we do for you, for your business, to help you grow? The first thing that we're doing, that's the biggest difference, is that we switched from a 90-day guarantee of our work to a 1 year. That is for elements that we rate satisfactory in our report that are eligible, and it doesn't replace a warranty at all. I had my first question about that recently. Are you doing a warranty? No, we are not doing a warranty. We're simply standing behind our work. If we said it was working and it stops working in that first year, you call us and we will back it up with a $1,500 allowance for that to either repair or replace. So yeah, we're standing behind our work. You're also going to get reports that are really easy to read. Housemaster's done over 2 million inspections. We've done thousands now in our short history. And this summer has been incredible. And since the beginning of the year, you guys have been pretty much at the top office for, I think it was January, February, and March. And so I cannot thank all of you enough for supporting us. So if you have questions about inspections, we're teaching our guys to always call you as soon as the inspection is over to make sure that you understand everything. If you have any questions, we want to make sure that they're answered. Can you think of anything else, Sophie? You covered it. I did? Okay. Well, do you have any questions for us? Yes, sir.
When you say that you're backing your work with this $1,500, is that let's say the HVAC goes out and it only costs $500. Is there $1,000 left, or is it a one situation?
If it only costs $500, that's all we'll pay out.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But then if 2 months later something else happens to something else in the home.
It's whatever that we rated satisfactory that's eligible. So yes, you could come back to us again.
It could be multiple instances.
It could be, yeah.
Of
Yes.
the $1,500 each?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which has never happened.
No, hasn't happened.
No. Or you wouldn't be standing here probably. So.
Right. Right. So we go to great lengths. The National Institute of Building Inspectors is where our inspectors retest annually. They to keep up with everything. I don't think that's required by ASHI. So we do have a high standard for our inspectors. We inspect them to keep up with what's going on. We constantly are delivering bulletins to them of things that are changing. The newest thing is the CSST piping for gas, problem with that. So that was at our latest training, which was in April. We went and had a regional conference, and so we are always training. We're also learning about the difference between I-beams and sawn lumber and the loads that they can carry, where they can be cut and still support something. So I was in there for about 10 minutes and I was over my head, so I let the inspectors stay in there for that. But I know what they're learning. They're learning all the time. So I think that's pretty important. And don't forget, another way we can help you is that we offer CE class. We offer home inspection, intro to home inspection for 3 CE credits, and we also offer common environmental concerns, which is a really exciting class. We grade on lead, mold, asbestos.
Why don't you go with Debbie before you leave so we can get a list of those and maybe
Okay.
get a class on
Will do.
inspections.
Well, I'll call you with that. Perfect. Okay, perfect.
And I do have a very important question.
Yes, sir.
Next time, could you bring some more of those sausage balls?
I did 3 pounds of meat and the other half went with Mark. So, yes. Yes, sir.
How many inspectors do you employ?
We employ 3 full-time inspectors, and Mark is also inspector. He's trying to run the business more than be the business, but he does still get out there and do inspection. So we have no part-time help whatsoever and no contractors.
Okay, what is your turnaround time? So you get a call on Monday?
We usually can turn it around pretty quick within 2 or 3 days, if not the next day.
Sometimes the day of.
Yeah, sometimes the day up. Yeah,
Okay.
there are plenty of
And
times.
that's important for you guys if you're in negotiations on the contract, how quick can you ramp up the due diligence time period? Because that can help escalate your deal being number one if you tighten that in and go, hey, really the only thing that should be in question is the inspection and what they're gonna do or not. So, you know, you got somebody that's got enough employees that can handle a quick turnaround, you can pull that in and offer a 7 to 10 day due diligence time period and make your contract stand out above the others.
And your radon testing, we have so much demand for that. We actually have finally received 2 more radon monitors so that we now have 6 radon monitors. That's more than we have inspectors, but it's such a big demand for it. And in addition to the radon testing that we do, we can do septic dye, we do pool inspections. We are certified to do air quality testing now. And so there's a little lab turnaround, you have to send it off, but it's all pretty quick. So, yes.
And you do a
Denise.
nice little postcard at the end for the
Yes,
moved.
Yes, yes, we do.
Can you
We do.
include some sausage balls?
I'd have to go into the sausage ball making business.
I think that's a great idea.
Right now, I told you.
Take the sausage.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
That's our
much.
sausage balls.
Yes,
See it already.
I had a quick question.
Yes.
And this pertains because I do warranties for the office. With the guarantee that you have with if something just working.
Yeah, we don't want to overlap with you at all.
No, I just wondered, if sometimes there are non-covered charges with the warranty, say they need code of freight to go above and beyond the code of freight coverage that we have, could they come back to you then and
We should talk
would you
about
help?
that.
Yeah, I'm curious because that might be a really good thing to help the
Yeah.
clients if there are non-covered charges.
Let's sit down and talk about that, and I'd love to sit down with any of you to learn more about your business. You know, have coffee or something like that, for any of you who would like to do that.
All right, thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. All right, so let me ask you this. How can you leverage Housemaster, insurance, home warranties, into reaching out and contacting your database and having different things that you can say, hey, you might want to consider doing this. We work with Kim Chapman over here. I contacted Kim. I was buying a car yesterday, and I was trading in a car that was a 2009, buying a new one, and I thought, oh my God, the insurance is going to be more, just rational thinking. And so I texted Kim, and very responsive, and he teased me and said, I need you to be sitting down first as to what the difference is going to be. And then a couple minutes later said it's going to be $25 less per year. So
For 6 months.
or for 6 months, so that's $50. All right.
Go buy a new car.
So in a year, I can take my wife to dinner and say I was on Kim, right?
Well, I'll pay for her.
So,
Yeah.
so
Extra toppings.
Tim, you got anything that you want to say about your extraordinary services and how they might be able to save money
Sure.
in 30 seconds?
In 30 seconds. Oh, man, I hope I can do it in 30 seconds. Well, I mean, the most important thing we do is help people assess their risks that they're taking and manage them properly. If we also save them money, that's icing on the cake. Tommy accomplished both recently, right?
Yeah.
You had some risks that, you know, some gaps in your coverage, and how much did you end up saving? I don't even remember.
It's $200 on the car insurance and about $400 on the homeowners.
On homeowners.
We got a lot better coverage.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the better.
Sounds like a bad deal.
Terrible, terrible.
You know, and usually the gaps that we see in coverage are on auto insurance. I mean, it's amazing, the stuff that Geico and USAA and some of the other companies write, and people are driving around with taking a risk that they don't need to take, because it's just pennies to get the right coverage. So that's the most important thing we do, so.
But you can leverage them, so you don't always have to follow up with your clients about real estate. Leverage them in your relationship with them, and hey, you might want to reach out and just have a reevaluation of your home and your auto, because if you wrap and bundle them together, bundle's a big word today in anything that you're purchasing, there's great savings that can happen out there. So it's also a trusted name in the business. Thank you, Kim. And thank you for saving me $50. I thought it was $25. My day's been better. LaDonna, we're gonna wrap you in at the end. Sit down. There you go. Start to get up. But I do want to go ahead and send props out. I can't remember who it was that called me. It was Friday or Saturday, and their question was, and let's see if you guys can answer this question. Of course, you're gonna know they do. So, how many home warranty companies cover polybutylene plumbing? Y'all know, who in here knows the story on polybutylene plumbing? For those of you that don't, polybutylene plumbing, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when is the polybutylene plumbing going to crack and burst, and you have some plumbing related issue. That could be sheetrock, that could be a whole bunch of stuff. Now, your homeowner's insurance company does what? They cover the sheetrock and the damage that's caused there. The polybutylene plumbing, though, how do you get that covered? Well, your cue was LaDonna Hawker back there with American Home Shield. And you can talk about that later. But I said there's no home warranty company that's going to cover polybutylene plumbing, is what my answer was. I said, but go ahead and call. Was the person that I spoke to in the room here, Joe? So Joe texted me and said, you are pretty stupid. American Home Shield actually does cover that. We need to talk about that text, but so he reached out.
You're pretty.
Oh, so pretty. Okay. Less emphatic. So the key thing is American Home Shield has information branded under Century 21, and they are the preferred vendor on the home warranties. You got your choice of who you can go to. LaDonna's going to hand out some information for you so that you understand it. But I thought, wow, they cover polybutylene plumbing, and I did not think that they would. So when I heard that, I was like, I want to make sure that you guys know what they offer, and she's going to give you some more information later on. One of the cool things is we are selected. We're the first real estate company that this call center is choosing to work with. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, my world is going to be a little topsy-turvy, upside down, all around, because we're going to do everything we can to make sure that this works very well. So on the front side, Robert and I are going to spend some time going on some appointments and adding some. I was out working until 10. Had to go down to College Park last night on a listing appointment, and then stop by home in Roswell. So it's just things that this call center is. We've had 7 appointments set since last Wednesday night they started calling. So we're going to see how this develops out, but it is something that's a big investment on our part. But they're going to try and see if they can take it nationwide, and we're the office up there. The first, prototype, the first, what do they call it, guinea pig run, first
Pilot program.
pilot group. Thank you. So it's going to be interesting, but it's going to add on a whole different element, and we're going to give it a 90-day run and just see what happens in the mix. If it's something that works very well, we're going to open it up, but there's going to be some very strict requirements on what the agents have to do and be involved with. But so far, I've been blown away by the appointments that we're getting set. All right. Little housekeeping. 1, property management. We've had people in here that have done property management. We are going to stop allowing agents to do property management, period. Okay? The only one that's really qualified, commercial agents, that have already been doing it, they are qualified, and Lynn Lusby. Now, outside of that, if you have anything that you've been doing in property management, it needs to stop. But if you've been doing it, then you have to take a course approved by Georgia Real Estate Commission that gives you the class and the proper training so you know the ins and outs. Property management, a lot of brokers do not allow anybody to do it outside of if they have a property management division. The reason why is there's so many ins and outs, so many laws that you do not realize are written, that you will mess up, make a mistake, break the law without even knowing it, think you're doing the right thing, and you're absolutely breaking the law. So we don't want to even mess with that anymore. So we're going to get things right on that, tighten things up. That's number one. Number two, closings. We reached the largest volume of closings that we have ever had. We had 171 on the books for this May. We have closed out 151 as of yesterday for May. So give yourself a round of applause. So with that, there's some things that you guys got to realize. There's a note on the door behind me that says pretty much, leave us alone. They've got a lot of stuff. At the end of the month, they get everything crammed through, and then it's not the last couple of days. It's you have your closings, and then over the next couple of days, the closings come in, so the paperwork begins for them. Sarita was up closing and processing closings till 1:30 last night, or actually this morning. So do we need to give them a little break, a little privacy, and not be banging on their door, where's my check? What we've got to do is make sure that your paperwork is 100% signed off, done, and completed. We've been closing out contract or closing paperwork, and people have not finished the work that Rob or now Debbie is going to be sending out notes of saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you haven't had everything finished and completed that's noted, you will not be getting your check. It's that simple. So we can't allow things that are, wrong in the paperwork to go on and have you get paid. So the simple thing is you do your job, you do it right, and then you get your check at the end. Does that make sense? So we've been trying to kind of push things through. We've been having people in different situations. We've got to get things cleaned up. Okay. So I'm not doing bad, so don't take that in any way, but they're getting crushed back there right now over the last week's closings, which is a great thing. I say, crush them, kill them, do whatever. I like it. But be nice to them. So anyway, the cool thing is we had our best month in units, gross commission, and dollar volume. So that was in May. Phenomenal things are going on, and our intention is to grow. Who can tell me what our goals are for this year as a company? Anybody? I mean, units. How many units? How many units do you think that going into last year? By the way, goals are something that you put out there. You know what goals are? So goals. Each year you should be doing them. This year I kind of set out some lofty goals. I said I want to do some great things this year. I want to do some stretch goals. You never set goals that you're going to be able to make. You set them to where if you make them, you go, oh my God, what a phenomenal year and outcome that was. So the one thing that we have not done a good job of is putting them out there. And as I've gone through broker things and mastermind groups, we're putting it out there, and I'm going to let you guys know exactly what the goals are, because right now we're kind of on track and trend to be able to reach them. We got a little ways to go, a little climbing to do, but we're on goal. So here's what our goals are for the year. 1,600 units. Last year we closed just under 1,200. 9.5 GCI. Last year we did 7.2. And agent count 210. That's a lot of growth to do within the last 6 months of the year, but I know that we can do it. And right now we're on pace to get to the units. We're just a slightly hair under the gross commission mark, and agent count, we're a little off, but we are growing and we're adding agents each and every month. So good job to Rob and Deb and Phil, Salamone too. So we can do it. And the one thing I'm going to ask you guys is, if you are working with people out there that you go, hey, you know what, this agent really did a great job, or this agent is looking to make a change, grab Rob or Deb and go, hey, you might want to reach out to this person. I think they'd be a great fit for our team. We don't want to bring anybody on here, but we want to bring on the right people that have the right energy, then come in here and be a great fit for us to help reach our goal. Okay? So can I ask y'all for that? Yes? Okay. So with that, we'll move on into Showtime with Mr. Jeff Zula. Where's Jeff?
No time.
No time.
Yes, go get him, because I really want. Have y'all heard about all the mass hysteria going on about people going, oh my God, it's going to be Armageddon come August 1st. What's August 1st?
When they change the time.
When they change your closing statements and they change the program for lending and getting to the closing table, right?
Y2K all over again.
So is it going to be Armageddon? Have y'all heard, I mean, I'm telling you, this stuff is getting blown out of proportion left and right out there. So people going, oh my God, it's gonna set us back 2 months of closings. I mean, it's crazy. We got brokers out there going to builders and making them think that truly, if we're not all over it, and how much do you guys have as a part of how the closings are gonna take place and stuff? Do you guys really control a whole lot?
No.
Who controls the most?
The lender.
The lender. It's really a lot of requirement. You gotta know the fundamentals of it because the paperwork is gonna change at the end. The fundamentals are gonna change. And you're gonna have to articulate that to people that have closings that are gonna be going on in August. Could we have hiccups and problems and stuff? Absolutely. It's a whole new system. You're going to have that stuff happen. Is it gonna be Armageddon and is it gonna be closings get pushed off a month, 2 months and hysteria? No. So Tim, what did you find out when you went over there and talked to Jeff?
Rates are low, they may go up.
That just shows you that the lender still controls it.
See, he's over there working diligently for August 1st to come around.
No, he is on a phone call, but he's trying to get off and he's coming in.
Okay, we'll come back to Armageddon and Jeff in just a little bit. Who in here is a new timer to the group? This is your first sales meeting. Stand up and tell us a little about yourself.
Good morning, my name is Laura Coons. I have been a licensed agent, first started off in Metro Brokers back in 2004. Brand new to the company and looking forward to change the business model and do things with a bigger nationwide recognized brand.
Awesome, love it. Welcome. We're thrilled to have you on board. By the way, we put her picture out on Facebook. I don't know if she had a lot of connectivity, but I noticed when we pushed her out on the Century 21 results thing, she had more comments and likes and stuff than any other agent. So I don't know what you're connected, but good job. Thank you. Glad to have you on board.
I couldn't have done it without the document that was created by our star marketer. It's a template. Okay, nobody else knows that.
Took a long time to get that together.
I'm Justin Hackney. I'm a multitasking dude in real estate and taking classes at Georgia Tech. Just in my first year of real estate, and I just switched over from Berkshire Hathaway.
Glad to have you on board.
I'm Joanna, and I am licensed as of 1 week ago. And I'm Tommy Sparrow.
Definitely.
I come from commercial real estate, so this is a new venture for me. I'm excited.
Welcome. Good stuff. All right, if you hang around and we see you again, glad to have you on board. If you don't, then good luck to you. Now, you know, a lot of people are starting to get in the business. I'm going to tell you guys this. If you've been in the business a while, you need to start redeveloping some things that you're doing or not doing. Because we're seeing some agents that have been in the business not too long that are really getting out there and going, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And they're trying new things. Look, I kept it up on the side. I have faith in you, Jeff. Get that necklace off before you come
Called
up
No
here.
Long Left
Okay.
Behind. Right? That's the new program.
So anyway, we're moving in the right direction. What are the goals for the company? Units, what are they? 1,600. How many agents? 210. Gross commission.
9.5.
Can we do it?
Yes.
Can we do it?
Yes!
That's good enough. Jeff, get up here. Huh?
Showtime, Dave.
Because I just backed into it with the logical formation. That's what it came out to be. So that's why I'm stuck in my hole. Here's what I want to focus on. I don't care what you've got in your hand. This is what I want to focus on, right?
ABC. A
Right
always
there.
BBC
Right
closing.
there. What about August 1st? Is it
TRID.
going to be
It's
Armageddon?
called TRID.
TRID.
Truth in Lending, RESPA, integrated document. That's your new 3-day rule on getting the HUD out before closing.
Truth in Lending integrated document.
RESPA.
See, are y'all gonna remember all that?
TRID.
TRID.
That's the acronym.
All right.
Live it, love it, know it. It's happening. We're already testing it out right now. So
Since you're already testing it out, tell us a little bit. I want to get into some of the details because I'm seeing a whole lot of erroneous, in my opinion, of mass hysteria. People saying, "Oh my God, it's gonna and it's gonna be the killer delay, and August is gonna be Armageddon. What is your comment to that?
No, the whole thing is just getting it out 3 days before closing. You already know the closing date, it's a purchase, right? That date's not gonna change. So as it goes through processing and underwriting, it's just a matter of once we get an loan approval, they can send out, our numbers aren't gonna change unless the borrower says, I wanna change my loan amount, wanna change my rate, they're not gonna change. So once we get it through approval and everything, then they can start working with the attorney to integrate the numbers together and get it out. The goal is 5 days before to give us some cushion. So that's what I'm hearing right now. The main thing is, it'll trigger the redisclosure for 3 days. If the APR goes over by more than an 8, that'll trigger redisclosure and another 3-day waiting period. So unless they're changing loan products, major change in loan amount, things like that, we shouldn't have any issues with it. So I'm sure there's going to be a feeling out period, but from what I'm seeing, it shouldn't cause a major impact. It comes through underwriting, it comes through clean. You don't change anything with the loan. We can get the HUD work done earlier. So that's, you just got to back out that date from the closing.
So I'm simply looking and go, you guys are just gonna act like the closing date's 3 to 5 days before the closing date actually is, and right?
Exactly.
And as long as that flows through. Now, here's some of the things that I've heard that I believe are a little erroneous is if anything changes on the, whatever the new document's gonna be called, the new closing statement, then it's all gonna go back and you gotta start the 3-day process over. That's not accurate, is it?
Not true, no.
What are the costs that if these costs change, then it wouldn't have to go back through the 3-day?
Like loan origination fees, interest rate. Like if it's just, hey, we forgot the initial HOA initiation fee on there, that's not going to cause our till to go off. If there were major changes in attorney fees, those are APR items. Yeah, that could throw things off. But the attorney's fees aren't going to change, and we already know when we lock in the rate, we lock in, their fees, their origination fees or no origination fees, however they structure their loan. So, unless there's something big, you're not going to see any major issues.
So it's truly only related things that would cause the person's mortgage to be affected, really.
Exactly. Right? And if there's a prepayment penalty, that was the other big thing, but I haven't seen a prepayment penalty on a loan in like 10 years. So those are a thing of the past. It used to be with ARMs, they would put a 5-year prepayment penalty on a 5-year ARM. Well, I don't see those things. I can't even sell those products, so they don't exist in my world.
So does it sound that bad to y'all? Yeah. Is it gonna be an issue, and until you get comfortable with it, you're gonna have little blips and stuff here? Yes. Is it gonna be Armageddon? Absolutely not. I had not talked to Jeff, but I had read things and I had talked to different attorneys and stuff, and I knew it was not as easy. I knew it's not as easy to mess things up as what I had been hearing, and I wanted you guys to hear it so that as you hear these, oh my God, it's not, oh my God, it's simply, we're gonna have a little hiccup here or there, that's gonna happen. You need to educate your sellers and your buyers for that to happen, especially through the month of August. Hey, if you say, hey, we might have a little blip, you might have a delay, but it's not that big of a deal. We're closing with somebody that's reputable. If you're closing with, if you got a seller, and you're closing with somebody that you don't really know, you might want to get all over that person and find out where they are in the process with the package and take control. Be proactive about what you can do with your part of getting those closings. But as we get closer and closer, when you have listings, you need to start engaging in conversations around, hey, here's what's going on, here's what you need to know about, here's what the changes are going to be.
The biggest thing is if you're going to move a closing date up, that could probably affect things. If you're trying to move it up a few days, that could cause some issues if we hadn't already sent out the HUD or hadn't accounted for it. If somebody's floating their rate right before closing and rates have gone up, obviously they have to lock the rate and then you have to wait 3 days because we have to redisclose from that. So there's a situation too, but overall, the bulk of it, there shouldn't be any major issues. It's going to be a lot of communication between the lender and the attorney now, ahead of time to make sure that they get at least the initial HUD out there. There can be some minor changes, minor tweaks, but I don't see any major issues.
Yes.
Practical application question. Appraisal comes out, lender mandated repairs. Seller's not going to do them, buyer adds them to the loan. This will not affect the truth in lending statement because it can be handled before it goes through underwriting, and it's going to already be included on the statement when it's sent out, so there's plenty of time for the evaluation, correct?
Teresa, how are they adding it to the loan though? Fill me in, how do you mean they're adding it to the loan? Are they building it into the interest rate and getting a lender credit for some of those repairs, or
Valid point.
putting less money down? I mean, I
Or
guess
increasing the loan amount.
if they increase the loan amount, then that could trigger, but again, it would have to be a pretty big change for it to throw the rate off an 8 on the APR.
Okay. Which that would be the only reason for that revised form to trigger is the increased interest rate.
Right, increase interest rate to cover the cost of those repairs, or, to get a lender credit, or if they're gonna put less money down.
Okay.
It could move it from being 20% down to a PMI loan. That would be a huge change, because now all of a sudden when you add PMI, the APR goes skyrockets. So.
Okay.
Those kind of situations could definitely trigger the 3-day waiting period, so.
And be prepared, because you're gonna have agents that are gonna be blowing things out of proportion, because they're gonna be getting misinformation from from whoever they're speaking to. All right, what are the rates?
Right now, they've been floating between 3.875 with no points on a 30-year fix to 3.99. It's kind of where the trading range is. We've had some good news coming in. Yesterday, the bond market skyrocketed because there's been a lot of reports coming out that are positive. I think there's a report coming out today on factory orders for car sales, auto sales and stuff. They're expecting those numbers to jump up. The biggest report will be Friday, unemployment numbers. So if we put more people back to work, bad news for rates. Bond market will sell off. We don't want the bond market to sell off. We want people to buy bonds to keep rates low. So that's the biggest report coming out Friday. So.
I have a question. If you close on, say if you get the approval on a Thursday, when can you close?
If we get the approval on a Thursday,
Yeah.
we can close. You mean a clear to close or just loan approval?
Loan approval, clear to close.
Clear to close, we can close the same day.
With the 3-day, I think, notice that is he saying?
Oh, you're talking
the
about right
weekend?
now, or are you talking in the future?
Yeah, right in the future.
Well, 3 days out, yeah. So
So what's
Business
3
days or
days?
calendar
3
days?
business days, or is it?
3 business days. Sundays don't count
And
towards the
Saturdays
3
do
days.
count?
Saturdays do count. Anytime the mail runs.
Okay.
That's pretty much how it works.
That's a good, I did not know
That's
that.
a good question.
Yeah.
So if they go to 3 days, mail, then we'll have plenty of time.
It's a week.
My mail lady delivers.
Jim, you had a
on
question.
Sunday, does that count?
I love it. We'll try.
Jim?
I do. Since I'm still so young, you keep talking about Armageddon. What type of things, so I know how to react to, I see that as a positive, because it's going to give you the HUD, 3 days earlier
Mhm.
than normal, instead of the day before, or maybe 5 hours before.
Here's some of the stuff that happened that has been circulated around from agents is, oh my God, if any single thing changes, you get to the closing, you go, hey, you know what, I'm taking $500 less. Now you got to change your commission on the HUD. Oh my God, that doesn't change it, because it doesn't change the person's loan, all right? So that type of stuff would not change. And oh my gosh, what if we go through the walkthrough and they hadn't closed something and we need to put it in the, write something that, states that it's going to be.
That's an amendment, which.
That does not have to go through. That is
Yes.
not changing the person's loan, but those are the things that agents have been saying out there that are not accurate.
Okay.
I can give you a real live example. I had a builder loan that it was a mess from the beginning, and this other lender, I won't name names, Academy Mortgage, but they were doing the loan, and these are 2 police officers buying a new construction home, and they were so mad at Academy. They were overcharging them by like $5,000 in origination fees. So we said, okay, we'll take over your loan, but you got to give us 2 weeks to close it, right? So we get it done. It's closing last Friday, and we get it done. They get to the closing table, and they had only wired, let's say $4,500, and it came up, and the HUD came in, and it was like $9,000. And so we're like, oh gosh, what do we do? Why was this off so much? Well, we rushed the file so fast. I was told that the builder was paying all the closing costs, and there was a miscue there, and it didn't get caught because it went through so fast that the builder wasn't covering them all, and for whatever reason they were short $3,500 or whatever for the prepaid items and some of these other things. So we had to move the closing till Monday, and that would have gotten caught had we had the HUD 3 days before. They could have gone back and wired the money, and we still would have kept the closing date. But that's one example right there where It causes issues not having the HUD on time. It was one of those ready, set, rush, got the HUD at, like a half hour before closing type of things because it was a 2-week closing.
So you see it as a positive too?
It is a positive. Yeah, that situation would have never happened had we had the HUD 3 days before, or even just a day before.
I've been to numerous closings where the people, all of a sudden they get there, the interest rate is a little higher than what they thought it was going to be. Closing, so it's like, it is going to be a good thing. They're just going to have to get it in their heads of going, you get a file in, the closing's on the 30th, we got to act like it's the 27th. That's all that they're going to do. It's not going to affect you guys and your patterns. It's just now you're going to need to make sure that your people get all over their paperwork. I've talked to Jeff on different files and stuff, and a lot of times people drag their feet getting them some paperwork. It might be one item. Well, they can't push everything through until they have a complete file. And then the buyers are going, well, they hadn't got my file through. Well, you haven't gotten them what he's been telling you for the last 2 weeks. You got to get to them. So a lot of that goes on, and this will help everybody along the way. You need to basically tell your people, get everything to Jeff, get your check boxes out, get everything over there that he needs.
And we'll let you know if they're not getting us what we need. I'll usually reach out to the agent to help me get it. Because like he said, it can be one thing. It can be one form they didn't sign, but if all of our checklist isn't checked off, it's not going into underwriting. So it's just going to sit there and collect dust. It is what it is. You can't underwrite a file if you don't have everything. If you don't have all their pay stubs, well, what good is it? We don't know what their income is. So.
All right, we're verging on no time.
So there's no change to the amount you want for financing contingencies at all?
I mean, typically I'm getting 21 days, so I mean, I wouldn't change that at all.
Yeah, financing and appraisal contingency time period, 21 days is what I typically see as the norm and the expected thing. And you need to make sure that you give your people that time if you're representing a buyer, and if you're representing a seller, that is not unreasonable for a buyer's agent to ask for.
And just real quick, one last thing. I went to my office the other day and I was looking at my assistant's desk. I go, what's that pile of papers there? He goes, oh, those are all the bill of sales that are in your contracts your agents are giving me still. So he had a stack of these things and they were bills of sale. He said, but only one of the contracts actually mentioned that bill of sale. So they do need to remove that from the body of the contract mentioning the bill of sale. So he's been pulling them out for you guys, but just keep in mind, we've talked about it a few times now. Personal property's got to stay out of the contract. So that's all I got.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yes. So don't get lost in the hysteria. If you got any questions about anything, you do have control in the way that you communicate to people. Don't buy into the hype out there. What can you learn from the car sales? So I bought my car yesterday. It was a good experience. If I were the guy, I would have passed me off to somebody else because I could not make my mind up of what I wanted. But I get home, and last night I get this from him. And what I wanted to share with you guys is there's so many things that the automobile dealers are doing right that we as realtors can learn from them, because you need to work your internet referrals, your internet surveys, right? So I get this from him. It says, I want to thank you again for your business and your trust in me. I was like, hey, I could copy this and slap it out there. So I want to share it with y'all today and go, what would your clients think about this? Hey, Terry, I want to thank you again for your business and your trust in me. I really enjoyed working with your choices with you and helping you sort out the variables. In the end, I think it came out perfectly. If you have enjoyed your experience here and wouldn't mind sharing it, a web review would be really appreciated. So many people these days do the majority of their research online, and these web reviews are really influential. It not only helps the dealership, but me as well, since people often ask for reps that they have read comments about and that have been given 5-star reviews. I've included a link below to make things easy for you if you wouldn't mind. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity you gave me to sell you a car. Please let me know if there's anything I can do for you. You can just substitute real estate in there in the home process. That can be your cutout thing for everybody, because you don't sell them the first home. If you do, just have one that have the first home thing. But I thought it was awesome. Did y'all like the sound? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I almost felt guilty if I didn't go do it. It was so nice. And so I went on there and I clicked on it immediately. I said, I'm not going to wait. I thought this was very nice. And he hit me right after doing it. So just imagine if you went out and got on it right away after the closing and sent it out the very next day after you've given them a gift, and then bribed them to go out there and click on the link. Here's what you do. How easy can that be? So anyway, I wanted to pass that along because I've really been kind of watching the experience that the car dealerships are now trying to provide, and not only build credibility with them, but make you feel good about the process. And it was a great experience overall. So I'll send this out later on if y'all want to use this to help yourself in that thing. Here's a couple things that I want you guys to be aware of. Buyer activity. This goes back to February of 2013 or 2014 and compares with February of 2015, which, by the way, we saw a huge bump up in open contracts written each month, January, February, March, and April, and May. May actually dropped off just a little bit, and but we're going to wait and see how it goes through summer. Buyer activity is internet views. What are people looking at online? So the interest of people is getting high. From Freddie Mac, we're feeling good about the housing. In fact, we expect this to be the best year for home sales and new home construction since 2007. This I felt very impactful with the low supply of inventory that's out there. Here's your market type value. Now people are going above where they ultimately wanted to look at or thought a home should be priced at, because there's so few homes out there for people to choose from. They're having to go up in price to get what they ultimately want. So we're at kind of an interesting time, because you're going to have appraisal issues and stuff that start to come about. How are you going to handle that? It's going to be very interesting. So you're going to have contracts that on the listing side you need to manage, and it's not always the highest offer. Right? You can have a home that's priced at $400,000, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, we're going to offer you $415,000, but oh, there's an appraisal contingency in here. So if I come into your listing and offer you $415,000, but I have an appraisal contingency, and your sellers are sitting there relying on you to help them analyze the system and protect their interest. You got one at $415,000, but they got the appraisal contingency. You got one at $390,000, you got one at $400,000. The others don't have an appraisal contingency, but the one at $415,000 looks to be the best, but it might not be the best unless you tighten things up. So how can you tighten the one up that's the highest offer? As you're the listing agent, somebody comes in, it's the highest offer of 3 offers that you've got. They've got an appraisal contingency. What can you do to protect your seller? You can't answer, Rob. Be quiet. Put your hand down. Rob's over there. I know. What can you do? Let's say that everything else is equal, but one of them says, hey, I'm going to offer you $410,000 on that home, but I got an appraisal contingency. And your seller goes, I want the one that's taking $410,000, but you know it's probably not going to appraise. What do you tell them? No, hold on, I'm gonna make you wait, Lori, because I know we handled that with you.
Okay. All right.
Phil, what would you do?
I just had a friend call me this morning that said that they didn't appraise a deal that they had, and the buyer had $10,000 in closing costs. So they were actually talking about points in the closing costs.
No, hold on. You're analyzing the contract. Which one do you go with? Your seller's excited because they see the price. You know there's an appraisal contingency and the thing's not going to appraise at that. I don't like that. Phil said, which is not it's better than nothing. He said shorten the appraisal contingency time frame.
Add a counter offer, which are an appraisal floor that there's going to be a minimum value expected. See if the buyer goes for that. If they know it will appraise, you can put in there that property buyer will pay at least, let's assume $400,000, unless there's a $25,000 difference in appraisal.
So negotiating through given variables that you could say, hey, you could go 2-3 different directions with that. She's saying the buyer's basically going to agree to pay above an appraised value as long as it appraised within a certain amount. Yes, what?
If their lender allows it. Is there a loan involved?
Well, they have cash.
There's no lender that wouldn't allow you. FHA's got an amendment that says about the appraisal thing, but if you write a contract that says if the home does not appraise for the purchase price, the buyer is going to commit to covering the gap, right? You can say that. So I'm going to tell the other agent, if your buyers are willing to pay that price today, doesn't matter what the appraisal comes in at, they're willing to pay that price. So they're willing to cover the gap if it doesn't appraise, because otherwise you're writing a fraudulent contract that you know it's not going to appraise, and you just want to be first in line. We're not going to play that way.
But wouldn't the amount of money going down with a loan play into your strategy? It's not putting that 20%. You're not talking about 20% differential in pricing. So if the loan comes up short, so to speak, I mean the loan.
So homes at appraised at $400,000.
So it appraises for anything north of 360, it's a done deal.
No.
Because that's the loan amount.
Yeah, but you got it's by the down payment. So the people are putting down in that
If
case.
they're putting down 20%, if they're putting down 3.5%, you got a bigger problem to worry about.
It depends on the buyer and what they want to do. They could say, well, nope, now it doesn't work in my formula because we were putting 20% down. Now I'm not getting the PMI write-off, so I'm out.
No, I understand that, but you just said, what would you do if you had this? The first thing is I would look at that first offer, 415. If it's a 20% down conventional loan, I'd probably say take it before, because as long as it comes in north of 20%.
That's a good
less
point.
than that,
Go look
otherwise,
at,
if it's FHA, then you want to go the other rate, which is to go to the other three offers and say, look, if you guys aren't willing to do 405 with no appraisal contingency, you have to bring it up because they haven't even asked for it. Then you.
so one, look at the offers financing and find out what they're putting down. If you got somebody trying to pay above list price to be number one on the offer, but they have only got 3 to 5% down, that ain't gonna fly. If they got 20% to put down, they probably have cash to cover the gap. But if they're putting 3 to 5% down, you can almost throw that one in the garbage, right? So,
But you had three other buyers who were
Yeah.
willing to pay something close.
so hold on, look at the financing, down payment, and then you want to make sure if they're willing to say that in the contract, there's no appraisal contingency. I'd go first saying, we're not going to have an appraisal contingency. If your people are willing to write it, they need to be willing to buy it. So if it appraises at 380, you're covering the $30,000 gap, period. And if they don't want to,
Move on. But if it's
then we're going to go to the
FHA
number
loan,
2 or
if
3
it's an
contract.
FHA loan at that point, you can't say no appraisal contingency. That's part of the FHA policy that you can't have a contract that says that.
But
So
they
again,
can be responsible for covering the gap.
well, I mean, it would have to be, but it's nice to have that option. Yeah. So, but anyways, I mean, the fact is, if you had three other buyers who were in at a real close second, that's when you go back to those three and say, look, guys, we need a number north of 400,000 or whatever number you think you get your buyers to sell. But somebody's gonna, right now, somebody's gonna say, yeah, I'll do the 410. I'll change my price.
But wipe out the appraisal contingency.
Yes.
Go with that. Too many agents are going in and going, we'll go ahead and take the highest price. And then what's going to happen when it doesn't appraise, the buyer's going to come and say, well, now we don't want to buy it unless you're willing to match the appraisal.
We
Take the negotiation away from them when it doesn't appraise. That's what you want to do.
I had the same exact situation last week. And that was actually a coming soon. I did an open listing on the house because I didn't want to have to put it in MLS because there's a tenant in there and it's just a nightmare. But basically, put a sign in the yard, coming soon, open listing, and 2 people showed up. And the same thing happened. I said, you know, the problem we're running into is that we're still catching the market on an upswing in this particular neighborhood. And my biggest concern is I don't want to have a fiasco of 10 offers coming in and driving this price up so high that it won't appraise. You know, because some of these are going to be FHAs, some will be 20 or 25% down people. So at the end of the day, that was the thing, is like, you know, as long as that 25% down covers that gap, the appraisal only has to meet that lender number. It doesn't have to meet the total contract price. And that's the decision that we went with, which was basically a full price offer at that point. You know, like that's, we accounted for it, here's the number, and so it all worked out. But that was, I know the commercial side of business, that's always the piece that becomes the moving part, is how much down payment has somebody got involved. Because when you're doing appraisal on wall land, then they can come in all over the board. You know, what one person sees versus another appraiser, potential there's just no comps like you have in a subdivision where every house is basically the same, you know, very similar stuff.
Well, as we're in the land of shortage of inventory, this is going to become more intense. We're going to get in the hot time of the summer months. You're probably going to be dealing with it more. Be careful of that. Because it's what you're going to see. More and more people are going to be going up to get what they ultimately want. Millennials, this was an interesting one. 90% of buyers 34 and younger who purchased their home through a real estate agent or broker. The thing I love about that is they've all been talking about how the internet's going to change our world and how they're not going to find value in a realtor and stuff. 75% of the buyers 34 and younger that said they would use, who say the real estate agent helped them understand the buying process. You couple that with, there was one more that talked about the main reason why millennials are not engaging in the home buying process is they do not understand the home lending process, and they're looking for people to help them sort through the home lending process. So you can be a big key factor for helping the millennials get into the game and make their first time home buying process. This chart, I'm going to send all these little graphs out later today in the link, but this one's a great chart to send out to people that you're working with as buyers. Why not to wait? Because as interest rates are going to be going up, the more you wait, the more time-related stuff. Interest rates going up can get you a lot less purchasing power. So as prices are going up, you could find waiting 6 months to a year. You could definitely miss the boat on getting the right home for you. and the right size. Cloud CMA, Paul, told you you'd have a couple minutes. We're not gonna go into a presentation. I want you to get them fired up and understand who's been using the Cloud CMA. Who's been using the Cloud CMA? Y'all must not hear me. Who's been using the Cloud, y'all know what the Cloud CMA is?
Yeah, the classes are booked out because this thing is so hot. It's really good. But anyway, it's in FMLS. You go into your tools in FMLS. And basically, it's going to give you like a 50-page report. It's going to build up all the solds, the pendings, and the actives. And it's going to, in the neighborhood, right around it. And the cool thing about this is you can go into any subdivision where a listing just sold. And you know, those people are twice as likely to list their home if you have one that just sold. So this is really going to help with your prospecting. And the cool thing about it is it's so fast. All you got to do is put a name and address in it, and it's going to pull up the report. And it's going to have pictures of the house, of all the houses around it. It's going to have pictures of the inside, and it's super cool. You can get it to them. If you're prospecting, I just call people, say I'm going to prepare a report for you. It takes a minute to do the report, but you send it to them an hour or 2 hours later. It looks like you spent a lot of time on this report. I've already talked to people that sent the report to it, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much information here. And what it doesn't do, it doesn't give them an exact value, and that's to your advantage. It's going to make them ask more questions. So it really doesn't replace the CMA report that you do in FMLS, but it's a fantastic prospecting tool.
Did you take the class, or is this something you could figure out without doing the class?
No, you can figure it out yourself. There's videos on it, and Terry may let me do a little bit more. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Paul give a little class on the Cloud CMA. Would y'all like that?
Yes.
Since nobody knew anything really how to do it, Paul has been working on it before they really rolled it out in FMLS. So we were trying to use it as a tool of the company for some of the online stuff that we're doing. So he kind of got ahead of the curve on it. So next Tuesday, we will have him speak for however long. We'll sit down and figure it. 15 minutes. All right, where'd Robert go? So, LaDonna, you got 1 minute. And then Robert's going to come in here and he's going to finish up.
Okay, good morning.
Before you get talking,
Thank you.
Robert's going to tell you about, Robert's going to finish the meeting up after LaDonna gives her minute and a half. She negotiated an extra 30 seconds out of it. But leverage this information. Leverage your vendors that we work with in here. Use them to get out and reach out to your former clients, your sphere of influence, and grow your business on other ways just outside of real estate. By the way, home warranties, if people have been in a home for more than 5 to 10 years, they absolutely need to have a warranty. So if you got friends that have been in their home that long, you might just want to encourage them to reach out and get a home warranty. It is a great opportunity, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
So she's going to talk, and then Robert's going to finish up the meeting, and I will be around later on. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry. See this big smile on my face? I have a new man in my life. No, Mike, I didn't get rid of Scott. I have a new grandson. He's a week old. Caden Luke. I'm so excited. Anyway, just had to share that. A couple things I wanted to discuss. I passed out, I know a lot of you have probably seen the Department of Energy has made some changes in water heater regulations and HVAC regulations. I don't have a lot of time to get into this. Take a look over this. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'd be happy to explain what American Home Shield is doing, but we're completely aware of it, and we are going to be able to take care of your clients with the new regulations. So some talking points, you might want to become familiar with them, because if one of your homeowners asks you, you don't want to go, oh, I didn't hear anything about it. You want to be educated. So that's just a little something from us. Second thing I wanted to talk about quickly is new construction. As I drive through Forsyth, I see new starts everywhere. And I don't see a lot of you taking advantage of our new construction warranty. Now, I know a lot of you think, well, they won't need it because it's new construction, but we actually bought a new construction home when we moved here, and within 2 years, we replaced one of our AC units because it was undersized for the finished square feet in the house. So keep that in mind. Things break down. If they're buying a spec home and the builder put in, just base low-end appliances to fill the holes, things break down, they can get a new construction warranty from American Home Shield when they purchase that home. Our top of the line warranty for $1,000 that covers second, third, fourth, and fifth year. So after the first year, if they decide to get a warranty, they're gonna be paying the retail price, $500-600, whatever it is. They're gonna renew that every year. So at the end of 5 years, they've paid over $2,000 where they could have got it for $1,000. So keep that in mind if you're working with a buyer that's purchasing new construction. Last thing I wanted to talk about quickly is, before I go to the polybutylene, branding. You guys are Century 21. We're Century 21. I walk in the room and I see all the other warranty apps, but they're not branded for Century 21 like we are. When you go out and you're on a presentation, whether it be with a seller or a buyer, and you pull out a branded application, what that says to your clients is confidence. If Century 21 has chosen American Home Shield to work with, and they've chosen Century 21 to work with, then they're gonna have more confidence in our warranty. So keep that in mind. We're branded for you guys. Lastly, polybutylene. Yes, we do cover. Hey, Joe, you had that question. What we do is if there is a failure in a polybutylene pipe system, we will fix the repair. We will replace that part of the pipe. We will not repipe the entire home. They might want to consider doing that if they do have a failure, but we do cover the leaks that occur in polybutylene piping. We are one of the only warranty companies that do. I know there used to be a recovered hotline where they could get some money from, the agency that recalled all that, but I don't even know if there's any money left in that. They could possibly call that hotline and try to find out just to help them with the repiping. But if they've got a leak, they need to get that fixed immediately, and we will take care of that. Yes?
Is there a maximum claim
No.
allowed?
No.
So they could, multiple leaks could spring up at different times in every single
Yes.
room of the house, and you'll come back and you'll fix every single one?
Yes, the only time we wouldn't is if it's for the seller, because we have a $2,000 cap on seller's coverage. And the reason for that is the seller is covered during the listing period and they don't pay. They're not obligated to pay. So American Home Shield has to put, for financial purposes, a cap on that. We can't have a seller, getting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. At some point, we're gonna start losing money. So we do have a $2,000 cap on any type of repair or replacement for the seller. But for the buyer, there is none. If they have to go through a slab to get to the leak, we do have a $1,500 cap on drilling down through the slab. But that would be the only cap that we would have on that. So any questions about that? We do have a solution. We would take care of that for them. Listings, make sure you're covering your listings. We've got a lot of HVAC failures going on right now because we have people, turning the AC on, and we will cover the seller during the listing period. You don't want to show a house that doesn't have air working. You don't have a buyer that's going to close on that house and that air's not working. So keep in mind that we'll cover the seller during listing at no cost. They're not obligated to purchase, and if they do purchase, they pay for it in closing. So anyway, any questions for me?
Do you have some of those brochures here that you can leave?
Yes, there's some in the break room, and I have some here as well. Yes, I'll give this to you. So everyone's gonna call me today with their listings, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Y'all have my cell phone number? I'll give it to you. It's 678-662-4423. And if you lose it and you call me and I have to give it to you again, then I charge it for it another time. I don't know, it's only for you the first time.
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you.
LaDonna.
So I'll give you all a little caveat today. If I wince to the floor and start screaming like a schoolgirl, I've got a terrible earache. So I think I got a bad place to swim here. So y'all put the pin in the left. All right, June 15th. Finally, new phones are being installed. I think Hyro's mind is about blown out. He's sick of chasing DID phone, chase the weasel. And have we determined on what we're going to do with fax DID?
Yeah. Basically, and speaking with Owner, which is who we're going to go do our phone systems with, we have to purchase a new block of DIDs, like, a new set of numbers for incoming agents and for if we wanted to do phones and faxes for you guys. However, with the way it is now and the numbers that we have available now, and since they have to get started on it, we have to choose either everyone gets a DID for the phone right now or they get the one for the fax. Robert, Terry, and I have all spoken, and for right now, the DID as it stands will just go to a fax. If you want a phone DID, once we actually do the migration and get the next block of them, you can come talk, I guess, with me once we have everything set up, and we can go ahead and set you up a separate phone DID as well.
And let's back into this. So, and I'll tell you guys what happened. You know, anybody had their faxes go to spam, and you know, and for those of you that haven't, you know, we've done a little bit of chase the weasel. Here's really what was happening. The phone system, when you had that DID, the system was going, is it a phone call? Is it a fax? Is it a phone call? Is it a fax? And then you know how there's the voice prompt where you're introducing yourself, whether it's forwarding to your cell phone or not. Once that got past 4 seconds, then the phone system's really going, is it spam? Do I block it? Is it spam? Do I block it? Now, did we have about the most high-tech spam filter known to mankind? I believe we could have shut down the Pentagon. Well, what we also did was shut down our own phone system by it constantly going, what is it, what is it, what is it? So here's where I think we're going. And we'll let you do whichever you want, because we're probably going to give everyone new business cards come 1st of June. Yeah, 3rd week of June. We're going to give you an option if you want to have your cell phone number put on the card. And then we'll have a separate DID number just for fax. Or you'll have to have a DID number and a separate number. Does that make sense? So this is what sort of held things up. We had to buy a new phantom block of numbers to make sure we had enough. All of a sudden that took us from 200 to 400, possibly going to 600. They all need to be the same. Honestly, none of that stuff's easy. So it seems like it's taken forever, or it does to me. So I think we're finally ready to pull the trigger. We just changed business card company, so don't think we'll be getting any more crazy colors. I'm going to email those out to folks. You know, and I don't know if, has Terry told anyone anything about Real Estate Book?
No.
Let me think about it. Pardon?
School beans.
They're no longer doing postcards, business cards. We're moving along. We'll have a website with postcard. We'll have our own intranet with a company called Proforma, who we used to do our business with. So you'll be able to order postcards, do the bulk rate. We're going to give you some templates. I think you'll be pleased. What probably gives it the greatest amount of value, and this was the real attraction with Real Estate Book, for us to go do bulk rate postcards. You know, and we've got bulk rate postage. It still takes a little while. We don't have as many fine-tuned routes as some of these other companies do. You know, and I got to tell you, walking in the wrong door at the post office, I don't ever want to do that again. You know, next thing I know, I was laying on the floor and I thought they had me plucked like a chicken. Sarita didn't say the far back door. I went into the side door. Never walk in a door in the back room of a post office. I can assure you that does not go well for you. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, what the hell? So, yeah, it'll make it pretty quick. Because, gosh, if we had all kinds of frustration with, you know, Real Estate Book, you know, here's all I know to tell you. I don't believe Allie owns any more distribution for Real Estate Book publications. I know there's one we've been chasing where it actually supposed to be at publication 30.2. We out front, we had 29.1. There's, you know, X number of distribution in North Fulton, Forsyth County. I rode around and took pictures of like 25 places last Friday. Went to all the places it was supposed to be. Yeah, didn't find it, but at 3 places out of date. So then when I put all that together, she said, oh yeah, well, I'm no longer associated. I'll send you the new person. So anyway, we'll get that figured out. But so I don't even know how I got off on that crazy trip.
Start the postcards.
as soon as he gets us a proof.
All right.
What's your question?
Well, I had just was going to start with Ally and we met and did everything. So I don't know what happens then.
Nothing,
Nothing.
I'm sure.
Okay. So start over. Okay. Which is probably a blessing to us.
Hey, it was a little unfortunate, so we'll just move along from there. So new phones on the 15th. What's the most important thing you guys need to do? For anyone that has phone messages stacked up in your system, you need to listen to them, move it somewhere else, because it will all go poof and disappear. Everybody good with that? I'm guessing anybody in here allowing that desktop just to ring to the desktop and not forward to a cell phone? Yeah, that's sort of why we made the decision to sort of either make it clean, because I think everyone uses their, things have just changed so much. So I think it'll make it simpler. So for those of you that have a DID, it's going to stay the same, and really all we'll do is print a card with your cell phone number on there. Does that make sense? So I will give everyone business, I'll email those today. I'll give you business card order forms. They'll probably have what you got? Oh, you were looking at me like you're insane. And it'll probably take them about a week. These guys do a really nice job. And actually the price went down dramatically. Cards go back to that nice heavy stock that we used to use with a nice finish on them. I think you'll be very pleased. Well, I'm drawing a blank on everything today.
It's your ear.
It's an ear.
It's your ear.
It is. I'm sitting here going, I have like a ringing in my head. That's what I get for jumping in the lake last night at 10:30. Yes, it was chilly, and I didn't jump in on purpose. I was trying to put a cover on my boat, and I actually fell in.
I think I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, boy, it wasn't pretty. I can assure you, my ladder was up, so then I had to swim around and walk in through the mud.
Your beaver didn't help you up?
Pardon?
Your beaver friend didn't help you up?
No, I got that beaver out from underneath my dock. Open house today. Everybody seen the open house? It's a long way off. I hope you'll support the home team and go see Lane's listing. It's in Buckhead. So we will do a drawing for free dues for a month for anyone that goes.
Yeah. That was
What's that now?
last week's. There was a couple drawings.
Where'd y'all go?
Heather's house.
Heather needed the pricing.
Yeah.
She drew.
Heather had drawings.
Heather drew it herself. She got three
What time is it?
drawings. Heather won them all? No, 3 guys won. Three guys.
But you have 2 gift certificates if not.
I'd like to see it. What time is this?
I believe it's from 11 to 1:30. And then anyone ever use Aztec signs? Well, and you know how to go and order signs online from Century 21 online?
No, I need to.
Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you, and I'll let y'all pass. Typically, when one company goes 50% off, you wait about 3 days and all the others fall in line. So, and they'll run these about every 6 to 8 weeks. So if you need writers or, personally, I don't really care for Aztec. So, but I normally wait on theirs to come out and wait till, or if you call Build-A-Sign and send this to them, they'll match it.
Do you have this on an email?
I did, and I'm gonna send it out to everyone. But truly, if you just go to Century 21 online, it takes off. There's like 4 sign companies. And you know what it really breaks down to? I didn't really get this till I was talking to them. They buy stuff in train loads. So when they get in a train load of signs, all of a sudden they have a promotion. So then number 2 will go buy a whole train load and they have a promotion. And it happens about once a quarter. So any questions about phones? And I'm going to put an email together. So then let's talk about the real good news. Terry, tell you how we're going to end up the month of May.
Best month ever. Best month ever.
Anyone know any numbers?
150 something close, 153, 152.
Yeah, I think we're a little better than that. And you know what? If I don't make it back out alive,
On that door.
Be careful.
He said to leave him a note.
yeah, they're a little snappish. Yeah, and truly, I don't know if any of y'all have seen the email. You know, Sarita, she's a slacker. She was supposed to work last night till 11. I didn't see her closing after 10:30.
I heard she was here to 1:30.
Terry's at 1.
Huh?
I heard she was here to 1:30 in the morning.
She actually did work for about 1:30 at home.
You were swimming in the lake.
Yeah. So here's where we need a little bit of help from you. Because and right now we're at 162 closings for the month. Yesterday they processed 50 closings. We want to get you guys paid in what amount of time?
Shortest.
Yep. Don't y'all want to get paid in a quick, short time?
Yes.
Well, here's where we need your help. Fill your paperwork out correctly. Because you know what Sarita does? You know, she and I are not kindred spirits. She's the ultimate people pleaser. So she's finishing everyone's paperwork, trying to get everyone paid. So you know what happens? The good soldier gets punished by the person that doesn't do their paperwork, because she's really trying to pay everyone. So she's filling out paperwork yesterday. Katie's filling out paperwork yesterday. Caroline was. And what I said is, wouldn't you pay the good soldiers first and let the others fall to the pack? She's going to be late on a couple of folks. I think there's only like 3 or 4. Because truly, we get it. You guys work hard. You want to get paid. When? Immediately. So, but the good news is that we've got a little crunch issue in trying to get month ends. Yeah, and I told a couple people, this will give you guys an idea how much the market has improved. For the 2 weekends ago, from Thursday to Sunday, we pended the same number of contracts that we did for the month in 2010. Yeah, made me go back and go, how do we stay open? It was pretty interesting. You know, we've already beat our totals on 2010. You know, we're ahead by about 150 contracts. So, a lot of listings coming in. And what's the best thing to happen to us, Ms. Tenwako? There's a lovely young lady that is working up front with Rose by the name of Gabby Tenwako that is answering the phone and is here till 6 o'clock on Thursday and Friday and putting in listings, because Monday morning, you know, by 10 o'clock, Rose had 36 listings to put in. She was a little overwhelmed. She was spinning a little bit. So we're going to keep trying to put the right bodies in here and keep things moving to keep you guys working. So any questions about getting paid, getting listings in? Boy, y'all are awfully docile group.
IT, the internet, is that, I guess we were having problems with FMLS yesterday.
You know what? FMLS is having their own little meltdown. You know, Realist was down. Then the auto prompt kept coming up, going.
Was down, E-sign was slow as Christmas.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
I got a free account with DocuSign.
Yes.
I have a quick question for the group, if, once we're done.
Ask away.
Okay, now I wanted to know, and I touched base with Rob about it, I want to know if anybody has any experience with a deal with NACA, N-A-C-A.
I did one.
Yeah, was it bad?
It's not quick, that's for dang sure.
Right.
They have their own appraisers, they have their own, it's slow. But it worked. I mean, I closed, but it was.
How long did it take?
I don't know, 45 days.
Well, I mean, that's not.
Last time I had any experience with NACA, they were at 65 to 70 days. but it wasn't just them, it was also seller and selling agent lack of understanding, so nobody was really
Right.
hurrying for a whole bunch of things because they didn't understand it.
Right.
So, is that part of the problem that you're running into?
No, I don't know. We got an offer like 2 hours within 2 hours of the listing even getting on the market, and it's not
Right,
that.
so this is the NACA.
Right, and I don't know yet if their agent has experience with it at all.
Okay.
But the
You know what the premise behind it is?
And then they have to follow.
yeah, I mean, they go through the workshops and the assistance and everything. They get like a 0%.
Extremely low, and it's targeted to have people with lower end credit be able to buy their own home, and the loan officers with NACA are actually paid more, lower credit score that they can get to go through the budgeting and the planning and the household and the things, all of their hoops before they can get to that you're approved section.
Right, but as I understand it, it's not necessarily the buyer who is the problem, it's the communication with NACA.
Oh, yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're horrible. You literally
I
have
think
to
you
bug
two
the
need
heck
to
out
talk
of them.
after the
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, did we introduce any new folks today? Oh, we did? And did you introduce the lovely woman beside you?
No, she's
Joanne,
just.
she introduced herself.
Uh-huh,
She
okay.
speaks for herself.
All right, yeah, no, yeah. Mhm. You'll be remembering that, won't you? Okay. Any other questions? Any concerns? Any emotional outbursts?
You're the only one that has it.
I'm good to go. Hey, I'm on vacation next week, so I'm like, woo-hoo.
Short time.
Uh-huh. Bald Head Island, and then come back and leave for Florida. So I'm gone for 10 days. Oh, no, I'll be here. No, I would not do that to Hiram. No, I just woke up with it this morning.